Hey, today I'm going to show you how to use Filezilla, which is my preferred FTP program, and I'm also going to explain what FTP is in case you don't know. So I'm going to pull up Filezilla real quick, and while it's loading, the way FTP works is it's basically the way that you transfer files from your computer to your website. Because every website is stored on a server, which is basically just a special computer. And so you use an FTP client to connect to that server and then transfer files. So let's pull up FileZilla right here and connect to my Zach Swinehart site. If I navigate to my site on the left side, this is showing my computer, and I can go to the folder on my computer where my site is stored, which I think is this one. And then over on the right side, it shows my remote host, which in this case is HostGator, which is who I use to host my website. And we see that the two folders are not exactly the same. My remote folder has a few extra directories that my local one doesn't, like email images, for example. But if you're using like an HTML website and you're managing everything on your computer and uploading it, it's likely that the two are going to always be the exact same. At least they should be. So to recap, FTP is just very simply put how you upload stuff to your live site. I mentioned that my preferred FTP client is Filezilla. So if you just Google Filezilla, it'll probably come up first, but the website is filezilla-project.org. And you can just download the Filezilla client and then choose whatever's appropriate for you. And once you have Filezilla downloaded, installed, and opened up, what I'll have you do is go File, and then Site Manager. And for sites you connect to a lot, you can actually just add them to your list of sites. I recently got a new computer, so I only have like 15 sites in here. But you can actually export your old FTP entries if you wanted to. But anyway, in the Site Manager, you'll see this My Sites folder and stuff. And if you just click New Site, I'll just call this sample site, it'll have you type in the host, which is generally just going to be yourwebsite.com. Certain servers will give you a special FTP host, but usually you can just type your web address. So if this was my zachswinehart.com site, I would just write zachswinehart.com. For the port, you can just usually leave that empty and Filezilla will use the default, which generally works. And for the login type, you'll choose normal. And you'll use the username and password that your hosting company sent to you. A lot of the time, at least for me, because I use HostGator, it's going to be the same info as I would use to log into my cPanel and stuff. And if you're unsure of who to choose for your hosting, I would definitely recommend HostGator. If you just go to zachurl.com/hosting, that'll take you right to their site with a coupon for I think like 10% off. And I really like HostGator. They've been very reliable. Sites are load pretty quickly, and they're usually not down. I've had them go down once or twice in the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. So I don't have any complaints about HostGator. But anyway, once you do choose your host, you'll get a welcome email that usually has your username and password, and that's what you'll use here. And the last thing I'll have you do that's kind of optional before you save it, so you go to the advanced one, you can choose the default local and remote directory. So the local directory is a folder on your computer where your site is, so you don't have to navigate to it every time like you saw me do. So if I was to browse and then go into my websites folder and then into the Zach Swinehart folder within it, I could actually just have it where anytime I loaded this site, it would just be in this folder, so I don't have to navigate to it. So you could just click OK. And then with the remote directory, for me, because I use HostGator, it's always going to be public_HTML. I can never remember if I have to do a leading slash, but if you do have to do a leading slash, you just type it in like that. And then you can just click OK to save it, and then whenever you want to connect to it, there's this little drop-down arrow right here, and you can just choose it in the list, and it'll connect to it on both the left and right sides. So FTP is pretty simple to use. One last thing I guess is important to show you. If you ever want to upload something, you can right-click on it and choose Upload. Or if you want to download something, you can right-click on it over on the right side and choose Download. If I ask you if you want to overwrite, you just click yes, assuming that you do. And you can also just double-click files if there's just one file that you want to upload. But if you double-click a folder, it takes you into it. So hopefully this has been helpful. I don't think FTP is that difficult to use, but again, I've used it for a very long time, so it could be difficult for a beginner. Good luck. Comment below with any questions that you have, and certainly get in touch if you're stuck on something. Thanks.